Hello, everyone. I'm State Senator Michael Rodrigues, and welcome to this edition of Voices from the Hill. Today, I am joined by my good friend and colleague, Representative Alan Sylvia. Representative Carol Fiola is having a little difficulty logging in, as many of you know, in these days of Zooms and Teams and remote meetings. Technology is wonderful, but it can cause a problem sometime. And our good friend and colleague, Representative Paul Schmid. We all know also, he's a real farmer. And what's the saying? You've got to make hay when the sun shines. Well, he's out making hay, and he's working hard on his farm trying to get his first cut hay in the barn, which is really, really critically important to his farm. So welcome, everyone. Once again, I'm State Senator Michael Rodrigues. I guess this show will be aired. We're recording this in the middle of June, but the show will air in July. And now we are joined by Representative Fiola. Great. She made it. Thank you, Carol.
I was getting worried.
People would have thought that you might have got me with that axe, Rep. Sylvia, but we'll talk about that later. Technical.
Hey, I got nervous when I saw the both of you in a post with axes in your hand. Yeah.
We had fun, but technical difficulties, but I'm here. And as we all are so busy, I will be buzzing out of here at 10:25 for another constituent meeting, but it's things are back.
Things are back. We're still participating in these remote meetings, but I think that will change soon, shortly. I know we in the legislature are gearing up to open up the building right after Labor Day when we return from our August recess. And I'm looking forward to it because there's nothing like the direct face-to-face interpersonal communication when you're trying to negotiate and discuss important issues amongst our colleagues. So at least that's what we're talking in the Senate. I don't know if you've heard anything different in the House, Rep. Fiola or Rep. Sylvia, but we're looking like right after Labor Day.
We haven't gotten definitive word yet. There's a group working on all of that, as you know, as you've been figuring out, and thinking about the fact that we are a public building, right? And so we get hundreds, if not thousands, of people a day coming through. And so, in addition to the 200 legislators and maybe 1,000 staff, 800 staff members, roughly, whatever it is. It's a big number. So, we've been hearing similar rumors. You're pretty much at the top of the food chain, Senator, so you're getting more definitive. I wouldn't doubt that we will be September. It makes sense. We have a little break in August. As you know, the building on our House side, there's a lot of much needed cleanup being done. The building's old, we know that. There's rugs that have been there for 50 years or more, and there's a lot of issues with ventilation now, and so cleanup is ever important, more so now than ever. And so we've got a lot of things going on over the summer. So I agree with you. Getting back in September makes sense, and I expect we'll be doing that too.
Fantastic. Yeah. We're ready. We're ready for it.
Just to add to that, as you mentioned, Senator, there's nothing like the face-to-face, in-person contacts when you're in a meeting. But in retrospect, when we look back at this past year and a half, really,
Mm-hmm.
The technology has in many ways served us well, especially when it comes down to looking at the hearings. We were able to get a lot done. We were able to vote. We were able to do a number of things, and that's part of some of the reason why I think that how many times did we were in the State House anticipating 30 or 40 people at a meeting, and 10 would show up. I've noticed that we have a hearing or a meeting and we have a full house because people are able to do that without having to drive 2.5 hours or when we look at Western Massachusetts coming in nearly 3 hours in some cases. So I think the technology is served as well. Although it's sometimes we have a glitch here and there, but for the most part, it's been a very positive and a great learning experience for us.
I would agree. I think when we have hearings, the probably the most significant part is for public participation, as you alluded to, Representative Sylvia, that we have a hearing on a bill that is, got a lot of interest on both sides. We will typically pack literally hundreds of people in a hearing room because people want to have their voices heard. And it is an all-day process. It is hours, as you know. We've all sat there for 8 hours in a hearing. Well, what happens sometimes is somebody waits. They don't anticipate that it's going to be, they're not signed in for 6 hours. They've made the trek to Boston, and now they have to go home for family reasons or work reasons, and they don't even get to be heard. Now, of course, they can submit testimony, but they wanted to testify. So allowing people, as you said, to come into the meeting virtually, and to weigh in virtually, I think, has proven to be a very successful tool and allows everybody to have their say instead of driving in, finding parking, getting to the building. So I think it's provided some important access. And Senator, maybe you can start off with talking a little bit about some of the things we've already done that, even though the executive orders are over with the pandemic and the governor has no longer got those orders in place, what we've done to keep some things that made sense for now going on.
Absolutely. The governor ended the state of emergency on June 15th. And at that time, many of the special provisions that we either passed as a legislature or the governor enacted through executive order terminated. Things like allowing cocktails to go at our restaurants, allowing local authorities to be the permit granting authority for outdoor dining, remote meetings so that our public meetings, our city council meetings, our board of selectmen's meetings, our planning board meetings, on and on and on, can operate remotely under the open meeting laws. Many of these things we've addressed in a bill, a piece of legislation that we enacted recently that extended these provisions for a time certain. They will eventually lapse, but it will give us time to really figure out the right way to do it long term if we want to make some of these provisions permanent. And it will also give a glide path to allow some of these provisions, the ones that we do not want to make permanent, and we want to go back to the old normal, not the new normal, but the old normal. And in some situations, that's the case, to allow them to glide and slowly go away. But that was another example of the legislature working very closely together, the House and Senate, along with the governor. We're all working very, very well together. I have to shake my head every time I see and hear of what's happening down in D.C. and how it's just a mess down there, where we have a Democratic legislature and a Republican governor, and we get things done. We have our disagreements. We're in the middle of one right now, relative to the federal money. Nothing creates conflict than money, right? And we see it on the local level, right, with all the tens of millions of dollars that the city of Fall River is getting, both on the municipal side and on the school side. And we certainly have it on the state level, where we have received, actually, it's been deposited into the Massachusetts accounts, about $5.2 billion from the federal government. And we are right now having discussions about how we're going to spend that money. And we in the legislature, both House and Senate, are really not, this is not the time to rush. We have plenty of operating money. Our operating budgets are in good shape. This is really the time. This is to take the time. We have a couple years to use it, to take the time to invest it wisely. That's going to give us the best long-term return on those investments.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Rep. Sylvia. Go ahead.
I just want to say that, and that's something that towns and cities our municipalities need to heed to. What you just said, Senator, about taking time, or ensuring the taxpayer that money is going to be utilized in the best possible way, because this is a one-shot deal, really. Even though it's over a 2-year period of time or a few years, this is not going to happen again. So this influx of revenue has to be looked at very carefully, how it's going to be utilized for the best interest of the taxpayer. And I know communities are looking at that. I know we've had conversation with Mayor Coogan here in Fall River about that very such issue. I know that he has gathered members of the community to look at that, and I hope the towns and cities in the Commonwealth do the same to ensure that it's being utilized in the best way.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Once in a lifetime, we say that again. And so anybody listening, if you have ideas, let me say on the state side, again, in addition to the 63 million to the city of Fall River, the 42 to the Fall River school departments, this is millions. In addition to that, this 5.2 billion for the state is going to trickle down and affect, that's going to add on to the resources of certain agencies, organizations, healthcare, travel and tourism, hospitality industry. It's going to trickle down. So we are not at a lack of organizations already weighing in, right? Advocacy groups weighing in how they would like to see and how much they think they need to move forward with this transformative money. Well, the same on the city side. Like you said, Rep. Sylvia, a group gets together, you start tossing around ideas because you have to, as you said, Senator, think about it, because the regulations on this money is somewhat vague. I mean, it was put together, this much money in a relatively short period of time to dispense to the states and the municipalities with not a very extensive guideline. So you got to work within the loose parameters that they give you, and sometimes be a little creative to address this. So it's the bottom line for all of you listening and watching this is, there's going to be an opportunity to fix infrastructure and make improvements in our community. So if you have anything to add to what you think this transformative money should be doing, please reach out to us. We're very available. Reach out to the mayor, reach out to the city councils. Please, you do have a voice and we're asking you to use it. So.
Absolutely. We will be in the legislature engaging in a number of hearings. We're hoping to take these hearings on the road by topic. There'll be hearings around, healthcare and the fact that, especially our distressed hospitals, so-called disproportionately share hospitals, of which Charlton Memorial is one, where there's a high percentage of public pay. They went for, I think, close to a year without being able to perform elective procedures. That's where they make their money, their revenue base. So they're hurting. So, we've got healthcare. We've got, as no one knows better than Rep. Fiola is chair of the committee, but arts and cultural institutions that have been closed and shuttered, that were closed and shuttered for a year with no one coming through the door and paying the gate. We have our infrastructure, just our regular infrastructure, roads and bridges and the like. So there's plenty of areas to spend the money, and we'll be looking for and actively pursuing as much input as possible.
And for the record, while we want to be deliberate, right, we want to be, evaluate this, there are some industries like tourism, arts, and cultural development that may need a little bolster sooner than later because they are trying to regroup, right? Venues are opening, but they're not yet at full capacity. And if they're not at full capacity, they're losing money because
Right.
Their model is based upon full occupancy or a certain percentage of 90% occupancy. But because we haven't yet caught up with a comfort level, right? Not all of us are comfortable going out in a big crowd. Some are, some aren't. And we know that there's a time period it's going to take. And of course, when you are scheduling for venues of all types in this industry. It takes time to plan ahead. So some need it a little more than others. So Senator, on the Senate side, I'm just throwing out, we'll hope to, as we speak with, of course, your counterpart, will be hoping that we can look a little sooner than later on those dollars to bring much needed relief. And so there's a lot of that going on. So we've been busy, haven't we? We've had the budget, the regular budget. Well, you've been busy, Senator, so, but we've had the budget. We have our bills underway in hearings. And then we have all of this pandemic related. So it hasn't really slowed down, has it?
And
there's lots of balls in the air at the same time right now.
You have. I know it's been a very, and I have never been more optimistic though. And we all went through this tumultuous period of time during the pandemic, and there was periods when you wondered, how are we going to get through this? What's going to happen at the end? Well, we're nearing that finish line. Thankfully, we have more people vaccinated than ever. The numbers are going down like a rock, where people are contracting the virus. So, and I'm optimistic. I know all of you are as well, and we want our community to feel comfortable. We talk about tourism, Rep. Fiola, and we want people to get out to our restaurants. We want people to get back to work. I just have to say, yesterday it was great. Senator Rep. Fiola and I visited the Lizzie Borden house. Now, there's a new owner there, and perfect timing. And this guy who owns this Lizzie Borden house now, is really got some great ideas, very creative, and we'll be marketing the Lizzie Borden house. But how many people in Fall River? I say this about the Battleship as well. How many people have never been on the Battleship? How many people drive by Lizzie Borden house a million times and never thought about going in and taking a look? Well, this is your opportunity. So this summer would be a great time to look at that location, that venue, for entertainment purposes and historical purposes. We have a great history in Fall River, and it was just wonderful, Carol, to do that with you yesterday, and I know we had some fun with the axes. Those were rubber axes, by the way. They look real when we filmed that, but so I didn't want people to think that I was actually taking out anything on you in any way.
Oh, no. We had fun. That was a lot of fun, and you're right. We want people to visit, vacation right in their community. I mean, whether it's a picnic in the Quikasham Rail Trail, whether it's a picnic at Heritage Park or Bicentennial Park. If you haven't seen our wall, makes us so proud. Drive by and see your New Jersey. Some people have said, oh, it's the Taj Mahal or it's this. The New Jersey, deservedly so, and thanks to the community, is a beautiful building. It is not the most extravagant of schools, as attested to by, the numbers of other costs of other schools. I think we're about right now the 8th or 9th more, we're not even in the top, we're about the 9th most expensive, right? There are 8 or 9 others ahead of us. It costs more, in comparison, but we've got some beautiful stuff here. And so if you're not comfortable going too far, you can spend a lot of time right here. I wanted to just also comment real quick, Senator, something we hear a lot about, and I know you do, and that is the shortage of workforce. And it was interesting. I was out to dinner last night, and with my daughter, and we were told we needed to wait. There were tables open, and please could you wait 15 minutes? The wait person in that section of that, needed to kind of catch up because we're short-staffed. And it's a common thing we hear, and a lot of people, easily just say, oh, it's because it's that extra unemployment money. But from what I'm hearing, it's a lot of factors that have changed how people are responding in the workforce. And we really hope, we were at pretty full employment prior to the pandemic. And we're hoping we can get back there and make people comfortable to be back at work, to take advantage of the decent wages that are being paid to these employees, whether they're in the hospitality industry, the wait staff, or whatever. People are paying good wages. And so if you're not working right now, it's the safest it's ever been right now. Get out there, and they need you. And our economy needs you back at work. And there's so many good opportunities. You know, what do you want to add to that, Senator? What do you think?
No, absolutely. I mean, but we heard, as you said, we heard that before the pandemic, and we're hearing it again now as we're digging ourselves out of a pandemic. It's access to quality workforce. And we were at pretty much full employment when the bottom dropped out a year ago in March. And now that we're gearing back up and the restaurants are open and there's such a demand for people to go out, they're having a hard time finding help. But it's not just the hospitality industry, it's every industry. The home improvement building contractor industry, retail sales industry. It's really, really difficult to find help. And some of it might be the extra bonus that people are getting while they're collecting unemployment, but I don't think that's the material factor. But it's an easy one to point to, right? It's easy to blame that. But things it's just much more complicated, and we're doing everything we can to provide. As a matter of fact, the Department of Unemployment Assistance just changed its rules. So, during the pandemic, you did not have to prove that you were looking for work in order to collect unemployment. Now you do. And I'm already hearing from constituents who are getting their unemployment insurance shut off because they're not looking for work. So it's going to be interesting as we go forward.
We have a lot to tackle, don't we? Go ahead, Rep.
Remember the time when we'd say, people need jobs. There are no jobs. Well, now there's plenty of jobs. Just look around, and if you're looking for work, there's work for you, and people need to take advantage of that. I'm glad that I know so many people watch the show, and it's just. If we couldn't deliver a message, if there's a message, please reach out if you're looking for employment, and I know if you want to contact us, we're always available to give you some assistance, and please do that. I think you're on mute, Carol.
One of the things that we hear a lot about now, and we've shared it, and it's a reality, is also we're hearing that some people may have inadvertently been paid money, and it's not a positive note, but if you were wrongly paid, they're actually following up with people now, and so we put that on our Facebook page, and so there's a lot of aftermath to this pandemic, and while they really tried to as quickly as possible get funds into people's hands, I think now they're going back and looking. And so if you have any problems with that or questions, you can, like the rep said, you can always reach out to us. We have been really had the opportunity, and it's been an honor to be able to field, all of us, the questions from our constituents throughout this last year and 4 months on so many matters. And that's what we're here for. And I think, I'm proud of the team that we are. I'm proud of the team, how we work well together, even when we don't all agree on an issue. It's so important, that discourse too, as I jump ahead. So important. I get texts from my Republican colleagues. We're working well together. Senator, you have to work with your colleagues. Everyone has an equal voice, and it's to try to respect that and to be helpful to everyone that crosses our path. And we hope we have done that for all of you over this most trying time.
Absolutely. So going forward, The legislature, we break in August on a non-election year. We come back right after Labor Day. But between now and our break in August, we have a lot to do. As you said, Rep. Fiola, maybe we'll spend some of those federal dollars, especially on areas that need it more quickly, like tourism and arts facilities. We still have to put the budget to bed. We're in the middle of conference committee, and these days I'm juggling. I'm juggling 3 devices as I'm on this call because we're having conference discussions as we're on this call. And then we still have some policy that we'd like to see get done between now and August. So, batten down the hatches. We've got some work to do, but it's fun. And please get out in the community. Get down to the waterfront. Check out the Vietnam Wall. Check out Bicentennial Park. Support our restaurants. Support our local businesses, and take advantage of this great weather. I think we're just about wrapping up. So, I'll see if Rep. Fiola or Rep. Sylvia have some closing remarks that they'd like to say.
I'll just close by just mentioning our police. We have one of the greatest police departments anywhere in the Commonwealth here in Fall River, and this goes out to anyone watching. Summer is here. Nationally, there's been an increase in crime, but please pick up the phone when you see something suspicious. Call your police department. In Fall River, it's 508-676-8511. Ask for communications. Don't dial 911 in a situation that you see a suspicious issue, so that police can respond. So very important in our community.
Before we leave, the summer's here. Enjoy. There's going to be lots of concerts out there. I know not everybody, everybody's on the web to some degree now. Check out the schedule. The city has planned a host of activities for our youth in particular, whether it's dance or artwork or concerts or basketball tournaments. Our police, as you said, Representative, they've had a rough year and a half as well. And with crime picking up, they need our support, and they've been actively engaged with the youth. Support our community. Get out there, and if you see something, say something. That's the only way we're gonna improve and make progress. So weigh in. We're here for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rep. Sylvia and Rep. Fiola. And once again, we miss our good friend Rep. Paul Schmid. He's making hay while the sun shines today on his farm. It's critically important for him. So everyone, please be safe. Enjoy this everything that we have here in the great city of Fall River. Thank you all. Take care, everybody.
Enjoy. Happy 4th. Bye-bye.